Yo, what's good? It's your boy B-Dell. I am back with a Galactic Transmission. If you're new to this channel, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell. But today I'm going to be breaking down the spiritual science of the year 2023 and how it's esoterically connected to the supreme mathematical number 7 that's metaphysically conducive to the 7 energy cortexes, the chakras, and the 7 neurological circuits that connect you to the universe. So as the planet is terraforming and metamorphosizing by going from a 3-dimensional frequency to a 4th-dimensional frequency, that is also the symbology of the number 7, because 7 is a highly spiritual number that represents evolution. It's the personification of ascension. It's also reaps the benefits of solitude, to where you detach from the old system to where you're in a state of alignment, right? So with that being said, we finna get this screen share going. So like I said, 7, the number 7 represents the bridge between the human world and the heavens. It is also the symbol of faith and spiritual awareness, awakening, and acceptance and enlightenment, right? So this is where, the activation of your epigenetics is going to come into play, right? Your epigenetics is also predicated upon the fact it's a genetical mutation that reaps the benefits of activation. So the genetic activation, you get communication with your DNA. It takes charge of your personal programs, meaning that you become a master of the 3-dimensional paradigm, to where you're able to ascend and evolve into a 4th-dimensional state. You also discover your life's purpose, and it puts you in alignment with a higher mission. And it's also the awakening and the intuition of your metaphysical abilities when you're talking about psychometry, clairvoyance, and intuition. And it also reaps the benefits to reclaim the hidden talents and skills that you have. And it also releases the negative past life imprints, or when you're talking about karmic cycles, to where you break those generational curses in your family, right? So 7 is reaps the benefits of evolution. You see what I'm saying? It reaps the benefits of evolution. So that's why it's imperative to understand that, when you understand the esoteric science of Vedic numerology, 1 is the enemy of 7, because 1 and 7 is the personification of 8. 8 is a Saturnian energy that keeps you stuck in an artificial time loop. So this is why they have 17 right here. It says 17 countries that have qualified for 2022 World Cup. Then when you go to the next one, let me get this bigger. It says that Mickey 17, October 17th on Yay Day. Then you got $17 million. You see what I'm saying? 1 is the enemy of 7, because 7 is the personification of evolution. And they don't want you to reap the benefits of evolution as the planet is terraforming back into the original balance, right? To where you reap the benefits of your spiritual gifts. So 17th day of Christmas game day. Then you have another one. 17 counts of tax fraud, right? Then you got Messi, 17-year Barcelona career numbers. So like I said, they put 1 in front of the 7 because 7 represents evolution. So when you put the 1 in front of the 7, because 1 is the enemy of 7, you get 8. 8 is the metaverse symbol. That is the better simulation of reality they want you stuck in. They want you stuck in a 3-dimensional paradigm, to where you don't ascend into the 4th-dimensional frequency, right? So I'm going to show you something. Because like I said, 7 plus 1 equals 8. That's the metaverse symbol. 8 is the symbology of Saturnian energy, right? The Saturn moon matrix. So now when you look at the diametrical difference of the color spectrum, you got a dark blue and a light blue on the right side. So that is basically the binary code system of the matrix system that represents duality, because duality is not reality. So they don't want you to reap the benefits of reality by being in a state of evolution with the activation of 7, because 2023, when you add up all the numbers together, it represents 7. That's evolution, right? because the evolutionary state is predicated upon your neurological capacity, right? So that's why it says that in the 1950s, the typical capacity, what is called the brain's networking memory, is activated by the magical number 7, because 7 also activates the neural synapses. The neural synapses is when you activate the God particle that makes you a supreme being on this planet, right? That represents the perfect man. 7 is the representation of perfection, to where you perfect yourself in a form of mastery in the three-dimensional paradigm, right? Let me see here. So that's why it's imperative, you know what I'm saying, when you reap the benefits of evolution. So that's why the Pope, when the Pope died, you know, was a representation of the detachment of the Piscean energy. So that happened on December 31st, right? So when the Pope died, that is basically the fall of Eurocentric theological spiritual systems, monotheistic religion that's connected to the Freemasonic proxy of the Jesuit order. So this is also the symbology of the fall of, you know, the three pillars of the beast, right? When you're talking about, I think it's DC, London, and the Vatican, right? And those are all of the three pillars that galvanize the three-dimensional matrix system that we live in. So that's why it's imperative to understand that we living in the year of the rabbit, right? The year of the rabbit represents going down the rabbit hole, right? Because all monotheistic religion that's connected to Freemasonry, they all have a veneration for the cube of Saturn. The cube is a hexahedron energy, which is personification of the rabbit hole that you go down to pull yourself out the matrix. So that's why it's the year of the rabbit, you see? So like I said, this is why, you know, it's very imperative to understand everything that's going on, right? Because like I told you, when the Pope died, that is also the symbology. Like I said, it's the fall of monotheistic religion. First, you had the Queen that died. She is the representation of the money and the financing system that's galvanized by the Rothschilds banking system. So when she died, that is basically the segue for the financial collapse. Then when you had the Pope died, that is the personification of the theological systems that's going to fall in the three-dimensional paradigm. Now, next, the only thing that hasn't been compromised as far as your so-called world leader, because like I said, Joe Biden is not really the president. He's the agent of service for White House Incorporated, right? He's not really the president. So since he's not really the president, when this artificial leader, when he dies, that's going to disconnect everybody from the corporate legal fiction of the matrix system. So these are the three the Roman power pyramids that galvanize the three-dimensional matrix. You got war, you got Roman law, right? And then you got the banking system. So now, when you look at it from that perspective, like I said, the city of London controls finance, Vatican controls religion, Washington, D.C. controls military. Now, when you read up here at the top, it says verbatim that why has Switzerland has never been involved in wars and banksters go there for secret accounts to hide their wealth. That's because the Switzerland is the esoteric base for the Black nobility. The Black nobility are the ones who control all these three energies, right? Religion, finance, and military, right? So you notice they have the obelisk right here, which is a dualistic principle of dark energy, because it's the symbology of the phallus of the dragon, right? You got to look at that the 7-year tribulation video that I put out. But you also got to understand, like I said, now when you look at this, you go from 2021 to 2022 to 2023, which is equates to 666. 666 is the personification of 6 electrons, 6 protons, 6 neutrons that activates the God body through the epigenetics, as you have these coronal mass ejections that's permeating the planet to get your genetical activation. So that's what it's talking about. It's not talking about a demonic force, because your awakening, your awakening is hold on for a second. Your awakening is the personification of the end of their system. Your awakening is the personification of the end of their system. Your awakening is the personification of the end of their system, right? So, like I said, 2023, and you add up all the numbers, that equates to seven. Seven reaps the benefits of evolution that puts you in alignment to where you reap the benefits to activate the God particle within you, right? So now, like I said, these genetical activations on the planet, you know, this is why, your evolution in itself is going to detach you from religion. That's why they got to give you full disclosure. It says that the Vatican holds conference of extraterrestrial life, right? So they've been holding conferences because they know what's going to take place. Everything that's going to take place is basically the personification of divine retribution. Everything that's they've been passed off as conspiracy, they got to give it to you in the public domain, right? So it says right here, verbatim, this follows the last statement made last year. The Pope's chief astronomer, Father Gabriel Funes, existence of extraterrestrial life does not preclude a belief in God. That is a question to be explored by the Catholic Church. So, like I said, these are false prophets because the Pope is the viscera of all religions. He's the one who controls all monotheistic religions in the Freemasonic order, which is the personification of Saturnian worship, right? So that's why, like I said, when Pisces when Pisces amalgamates with Saturn, that is going to be the fall of the system in totality because of plutonium energy that's going to hit the planet when we have the spring equinox on March 23rd, right? Again, you got 23 right there. Everything is the personification of numbers because the universe is mathematical. God speaks through people and the chosen ones through energy, frequency, and vibration and numbers, right? So now I'm going to show you a few videos here because this is what you seeing is going to be taking place, is basically in alignment to galactic judgment. Galactic judgment, what I mean by that is, like I said, this is the evolutionary stage of the end of the three-dimensional paradigm as you ascend into the fourth dimension, right? So you're going to detach from old religion. You're going to detach from low vibrational people. You're going to be detaching from things that no longer resonates with your energy, right? So this is, the diametrical difference between chosen ones and the ones who's going to be left behind because they're going to have a veneration for the old system. They don't have the mental and spiritual fortitude to deviate from the system in itself. They don't have the ability to do that. So this is, like I said, this is the 7-year tribulation. Seven, the inception point of it is 2023, which is another 7, right? So like I said, they put 1 in front of the 7 because they know that 1 is the enemy of 7. So 1 plus 7 equals 8, and 8 is the Saturnian energy that keeps you stuck in a time loop because they don't want you to ascend off this planet, right? And your ascension process also puts you in alignment to reality, to where you understand the reality that there's going to be primordial beings that's going to be coming to this planet. So these videos I'm going to show you, there's going to be one young lady, she's going to give a dream interpretation about her experience about the Elohim or the Neteru or the Anunnaki coming down to this planet to raise up the vibrational frequency and to basically discard everybody who doesn't conform to the ascension process, right? And I'm going to show you another video of another gentleman talking about everything that I'm talking about right now when you're talking about the Anunnaki and the Riskians. So first I'm going to start off with him.
UFO sightings are now rampant worldwide, everyday occurrences. These are flesh-eating predators from other star systems. Here, as hunters of exotic creatures and animals on safari, or agreeable or disagreeable scientists and geneticists from other galaxies who are marking their territories just like all predators do. They are looking for test subjects for genetic engineering or for bizarre experimentation, or abundant food supply for their star systems, or for slaves or just trophies. Once the man gently be released with their children, a first come, first serve, free for all grab, because time would be of the essence. A winner takes all grab, and all you can eat, and all you can eat smorgasbord, and a merciless, unencumbered, savage bloodbath. Do you get the picture? Then here comes the meteorite showers, and the mad rush to get off the surface of the planet before, with their bounty before the showers hit. Those that escape being captured will be totally annihilated by the purging fires. If you think this is a joke, then go ahead and laugh while you can. Your underground bunkers and your primitive weaponry will be no match, useless, against their advanced laser technologies and their advanced tunnel. There will be no safe zone or ultimate protection, because you will be attempting to cheat nature, King Kong. Wishful thinking. The law is for every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. There are no amendments to nature's laws. You can forget that.
Also, like I said, there's no amendments to nature's laws, because, like I said, 7 is the symbology of natural law. Natural law puts you in alignment of divine intervention, right? Galactic judgment. So they got to face this judgment. You know what I'm saying? Because nature's got to take back the planet, and nature is being galvanized by the people who controlled the planet at one point in time. So when they come back to this planet, when you had the open vortex on March 23rd, 2023, right? That is basically 3 days after the new year, which is spring 20th. Tripping. March 20th in the spring. So that's going to be the new year. So 3 days after that, you're going to have the open vortex that's going to be permeating the fourth dimensional energy that's going to be hitting the atmosphere, right? So like I said, this is the personification of galactic judgment. So this is this lady right here. She's going to be giving you her dream interpretation about everything that I'm saying, right? So everything is going to come to pass. That's why a lot of people been having a lot of these prophetic dreams. A lot of people been having a lot of these visions, because, like I said, evolution has to take place. Ascension has to take place. You know, you have to be mentally and spiritually prepared for everything that's going to be taking place. So I'm going to be breaking down everything that she's saying while she's giving you everything that she's saying and that she's seen in her dream verbatim.
I'm going to try to do this a little slow so that I don't forget anything. Excuse me. But I just had this crazy ass dream. So I got to say it right now. And so the dream was like Judgment Day. And, excuse me, I'm trying to speak loud enough. The dream was like Judgment Day, but let me just tell you that it is not how we are taught or what anybody else has even had the concept of. Like, it was freaking crazy. And in the dream, I was living in this kind of gated community, and there was a school there, and there was fun stuff to do. I don't know, it was like people who live on Disney World, Disneyland or something. Like, there's so many things around, so many buildings, a shopping mall and grocery store, all kinds of stuff inside of this community. And there was some sort of parade or something, and I was outside with some friends. And the weird thing is, I was married to Terry Crews. I'm not sure why he was in my dream, because I wasn't watching anything with him in it or anything. But I was married to him, and he was cheating on me, but I kind of didn't care because I just don't care. But he, yeah, he wasn't there. He wasn't anywhere on this particular, in this community or whatever. He wasn't there at the time that it was happening, so he wasn't aware. But anyway, I'm standing out there with my friends, and all of a sudden, from far up the road, because people are coming down this, walking down. It's more like a festival than a parade. Let me say that, because people are walking every which way. There aren't floats or anything coming, so it's not a parade. So, I'm walking somewhere with my friend, and we're checking out stuff, and then all of a sudden, these things, not things, but they come into the community, and they just start killing people. And as they're killing people, they're shouting out sins. And everybody starts screaming and running and going crazy, and it gets so chaotic. I'm gonna probably put what they were saying as they were killing people in another video, because it was so much. And then they were saying it so much that I picked up on, like I really understood what they were there for. But everybody was like, aliens, aliens, terrorist attack, and all sorts of kind of stuff. Like, people were yelling all of this stuff. But these things, they were aliens, and they look like us, but huge, like really.
So I'm gonna show you a picture here for a second. She's basically talking about the Neteru, or the Anunnaki of what people call them. The Riskians. Anunnaki, Riskians, whatever you want to call them. So these are the Elohim of your Bible, what they was talking about. These beings are anywhere from 7, 9, 10 feet, 11, 12 feet tall. So that's what they was talking about when the Elohim, they came down and met it with the daughters of men. When you're talking about that in the book of Enoch, you got to read the book of Enoch, because that's basically a book that was extracted out of the 72 pages of the 72 stories of the Bible, because then it was condensed down to 66, and they started taking a lot of the stories out of it, because they're basically talking about a pantheon of gods that came down to this planet and jump-started everything. So this is what she's talking about. These are the beings she's talking about. The Anunnaki, Elohim, the Nephilim, or the Neteru, right? When you go understand Kemetic theology. But back to what she was saying.
Anunnaki size. That's the words that I heard in the dream. They were Anunnaki size. These things, they were aliens, and they look like us, but huge, like really, like Anunnaki size. That's the words that I heard in the dream. They were Anunnaki size, or descendants, or something like that in this dream, and they were very tall. Like, let's see, the tallest human being is 7 feet. These people were like, I would go anywhere from 10 to 12 feet tall, men and women, and they were pointing out sins and just grabbing people and crushing them and stepping on people. And there was a machine. This shit looked like Transformers. There was a machine that was riding behind them that was picking up the dead bodies. And they were saying, on the other end of the park, because it kind of looked like an amusement park, the way this community was set up, on the other end, there were these light beings, and they were also large, but not quite as large as those that were performing the judgment. But they were still, big. And they were, I call them light beings because they were about silver in color.
So she's basically talking about Ethereum beings. So you got three different modes of ascension when you're talking about these beings. You got carbon, the physical matter, and then you have a transmutation process to where you crystallize. And the other ascension process after that is your etheric state, to where you become a light body out of the light prism.
Where the hell am I going? I woke up all early and disoriented because of this dream. Now I'm not even heading to the right job. What the hell? That's okay. I got like an hour. They were silver, and they were like illuminated, like they were shining. And they said, hand over the children, hand over the children, give them to us. And these parents that were, the parents, of course, you know, amid seeing something so large and so threatening and also the kind of stuff, they were trying to run with their children. And they're trying to run. So many people were trying to run, even people who didn't have children, they were trying to run. And they were saying the time is now, there's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to run. The time is now. And these people were grabbing their children and they saw the light beings on the other end. And these people said, oh, guardian angels, guardian angels. And they were like, oh, save my child. And, you know, people were putting them in the hands of these light beings. And I don't think that the people who were doing it were aware that they're all the same thing. They took the ones that were large and threatening because they did look scary. But I wasn't scared of them. I knew what it was, but I just wanted to move the fuck out of the way. It was like people were scared either way, and then they saw the other ones that they thought were angels, so they were taking their children to them, and some of them were telling the angels to take them, but they were not taking anyone that was an adult, period. They were not taking any adults. It was all smaller children at this particular time, like maybe 7, under the age of 7, under the age, I would say that under the age of 10, something like that. They weren't very big children. They were taking them and putting them into this vehicle of sorts. And the people kept running and running, and some people stopped and they tried to pray, trying to make us group to pray against it. They were trying to pray against it. And
you got to understand the psychology of the dark psychology, which is a psychological egregore of Christians, right? If the Most High or, Jesus came back right now, 9 times out of 10, that the vast majority of them, they would try to kill him. Because like I said, psychologically, they're not ready for that type of process, because judgment in itself is not going to be, candies and rainbows and things of that nature. Everything's going to be happening in the form of desolation. It's going to be calamity. So galactic judgment in itself, is eventually is going to take place. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, if you're not one of the chosen ones, if you're not one of the 144,000 chosen ones, you're not going to reap the benefits of ascension. You're not going to get taken back to, different worlds and things of that nature, to where you can get these metaphysical abilities when you be trained for 1,000 years, which is one day on planet Earth. Well, one day in another galaxy is 1,000 years on planet Earth.
Man, they were started saying Jesus is here, Jesus is gonna save us, and we rebuke this in the name of Jesus and all this kind of stuff. And this man that was like drunk on the corner, he was saying, that's useless, that's useless. This is Judgment Day. This is Judgment Day. How are you gonna pray against Judgment Day? And in my mind, I'm hearing all of these things that people are saying, and in the midst also hearing their thoughts, because you've been told that Judgment Day is a day of your death, that you're gonna go stand before God and be judged and see if your name is in the book of life or not, and all this other kind of stuff that people make up. And this was happening like real time, and these people couldn't believe it. They were just, in disbelief. They were like, I don't know, it was almost sad because they were so disappointed. And they ended up getting killed. And the drunk guy did not get killed though. I don't know why. He did not get killed. He was steady there saying stuff. And but he was saying true things. He was saying very true things. But anyway, people were running. It became such a disorder that the ground started to roll. It didn't shake like an earthquake. It started to literally roll. And as it rolled, people were getting swallowed up into the earth. And I started running with one of my friends, but it was like I came there with a group of people, but some of them got killed too. And I started to run to get out of the way of all of that mess. But they were precise, and that makes sense. Like, I realized after I had gotten into the house that if they wanted me dead, I would have been dead. Because I was there in the middle watching from far back. and then they started to get closer, and the waves started to come and come and come and come closer and closer, and these things are marching up. It was maybe about 6 of them, 7 of them, but they're very large. And still going the wrong way. That's okay. Then what happened? Then it got really close to me. It got to the point where they were like within feet of me, and I slid because it was also wet outside. I'm not sure why. The ground was also slick in the midst of it lifting up and rolling. It was slick, and I slid into some dirt, like almost like a pile of dirt and leaves. And I stood there. I stayed there under the leaves and the dirt. And the thing walked past me, but I knew that it knew that I knew that it knew that I was there. It just didn't bother with me. And so then I went to into my house, into the side door of my house, and one of my friends who had not gone to the festival or whatever, she was like, "What is going on outside? I'm so scared. I'm so scared." And I was like, "Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it." Even though I knew, and I felt like I was one of few people that knew, but I was afraid to say that I knew what it was, because it was like we were in this secure place where we lived at. I'm not sure what kind of place it was, but it looked like, you know, government type secure. And she said, she was like, "What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? What about my children?" And my husband took the kids out to this festival and they're not answering their phone. I was like, "No, nobody's answering phones right now. Like, that's just not gonna happen." And then it was like as if, and then she was like, "Well, where's your husband? Where's your husband?" I was like, "He's not here." And she was like, "But didn't he just text you and say that he was coming and all that kind of stuff?" I was like, "He's not here." And it was weird, like in a dream, I knew that he was cheating on me or something. And she kept believing everything that he said. And I was like, "He's lying, duh." But I kind of didn't care. And then it was like I knew that he was out there amidst all of that, like trying to come back. And fast forward a little bit, the government is going crazy. Those things leave, they walk out. The light beings walk out from the other entrance or other exit or whatever it is. They walk out with the children and escort those children out. And then the other taller beings, the Anunnaki beings, they, escort the machine that's carrying these dead bodies. Still going. Okay, I know, right? Just wasting gas. Yeah. So they're walking through, like, is the ground has rolled and has given up its dead. The machine is carrying some dead bodies, but some bodies are left. Some people are dying from shock. Like, I mean, dying from shock, like nothing touched them. Other people, they're getting zapped, they're getting crushed, they just getting judged, and they're calling out their sins as they go. And then they left. They went ahead and they left. And at this point, everybody's on lockdown that's inside the building that could get into the building out of their sight. They're on lockdown. And so people start going crazy and trying to connect and trying to find their family members and trying to find this and trying to find that and figure out what to do. And my husband comes in after all of this, and then I don't know. He was like, he told me that he was somewhere in the house, but he wasn't. And I knew that he wasn't. I kind of didn't care. And I was like, his ass is going too. But I'm sitting there talking with my friends, and she's like, "Oh my God, I can't call my mom. I can't call this person. I can't get in contact with that person. And I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do." And I said, "Just calm down. Just calm down. Look, we're just going to have a drink. Let's just get some wine." And we're in the kitchen, right? And I was like, "Let's do one of those sangrias or something. Let's chop up some fruit and sip on that. Let's just chill, because this is serious." And so, and it was serious. And I didn't want her to be upset, even though I knew what was going on. So that's what made the dream so weird. It's like I'm not saying anything, but I know everything. And so just when we're about to do that, somebody knocks on the side door. And I'm like, "Don't answer that. Don't answer it," because I know. And she's like, "Oh, it's a woman. It's a woman." and it was this white woman, but her skin like didn't look really real. It looked like you know how when people put too much makeup on and it kind of looks splotchy, it looked like that. Weird. Like
She's basically talking about a Pleiadian.
you know when people put too much makeup on and it kind of looks splotchy, it looked like that. Weird. Like it's not the right pigment that it's supposed to be. And I was like, no, don't open the door. I don't care who it is. Don't open the door. And this dummy unlocks the door. And I pushed it. And when I pushed it, the thing already had his hand in there. And the hand was like rubber and bent. And I was like, look what you're doing. Look what you're doing. Help me push the door. And I start pushing against the door. And this thing is so strong. I guess she got pissed off about having to push against this door so much that she undid the bolts, like the latch on the other side of the door. So at this point, the door is not even connected. And she grabs my friend by the throat and took her and threw her out the door. And I started running. And I don't know why I'm running, because if she, like I said again before, if they wanted me dead, I would have been dead. And so I'm running, but she moves past me and she goes through my house and into this was almost like a courtyard inside of this building. And they start screaming, like security starts screaming. I hit some kind of emergency button and they're like, everybody's on lockdown. So the doors are automatically shutting. These iron doors are shutting over top of the houses of people. And these things are coming in through the door that, my door, my side door in my house. They're coming through it and lifting the iron up off of the thing and pulling people that don't belong there. And they start taking teenagers, people that are, preteen and up. They start coming to them and they start judging them too. And it's almost as if they was judging and deciding whether or not they could change. And
Galactic Federation.
There's more time on this video than I thought. But during the time that they're in there inside of the building, it's like as if I know that it's not just us. Like they're not able to get any kind of government contact. They stay trying to contact all night, trying to contact, but it's not working. And it's like I discovered that what was I gonna say? I'm aware that they're not able to contact anybody else. And I realized that it's not just us, it's not just happening here. These people are stupid in their mindset. They're thinking, oh my God. And the funny thing is somebody kept saying, this is in the initial part when they did the first wipe through, that somebody kept saying it's the government is sucking us up and all this other kind of stuff. Like they just kept, it was funny, but it wasn't funny. They was like, the government is sucking us up. That's the government shit. We don't have these kind of transformer shit things around here. These fucking spaceship, army vehicle looking shit. This is the government. Like you hear people saying all of this stuff. And I'm gonna go ahead and start saying the judgments that they were calling out. They were like rapist, molester. They were like liar. And immoral. People who had old modalities, people who were absolutely caught up in religion, like with no hope of recovery.
Notice what she said. You caught up in religion with no hope. So if you caught up in religion, that is Saturnian energy, Satan. So you're going to be judged for following Eurocentric spirituality. Just saying. So if you're part of, Catholicism, Judaism, Christianity, Islam, if you fall under those monotheistic religion belief systems, like I said, you're going to be judged for it.
Old modalities. They were saying these things, like just saying why these people weren't worthy of being on the new earth. And I knew that it was about the new earth. I knew that it was about cleansing. Anybody that was pure in their heart and anybody that was believing and understanding what true righteousness is, what life is supposed to be, and all of that, they were staying. They were here to, they're going to stay and be here to help clean up. But the other ones, they were just throwing them away like trash. They would literally call it out. This is complete trash. This one is, This one is this one. This one is that one. But it's not like the sins like you see in the Bible. They weren't saying things like, oh, homosexual, oh, you fornicator, oh, this, that, and the other. It was just like, if you were natural, or unnatural, and they were picking people up on that basis.
Like she said, natural and unnatural. So like I said, if you have a veneration for unnatural ways, you're gonna, be discarded. You know what I'm saying? You don't belong on New Earth because you're gonna eventually be a parasitical entity to everything, to where you're gonna hold everybody back from evolution.
Not necessarily pointing out people that were good, they just let you live and you understood, And so it was just strange like that. It's very strange like that. And what you gonna do? Run into me? I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting something else. Because the whole thing was just, I don't know, it was happening as if I'm watching a movie, like as if I'm dreaming something that should be a movie, but something about it was just extremely real. And you're seeing these people suffering, you're seeing people crying, you're seeing people falling to the earth, like you're feeling all of this fear, all of this anxiety, all of this panic. But it was like after the first reaping, the first time that they come true, it was like this cleanliness, or like a cleansed feeling that came over the earth, and they were not done. So as far as like the auric field, I mean the ethereal field, like as if there was a cleansing being done over the earth, and that's really what they were coming to do. And then I woke up, I just remembered, let me make a quick apology, because when I did that channel tree message, I left out some stuff, and it's funny that I left it out and then I dreamed about it.
So there's going to be another cleanse that's going to take place, what she's talking about. So like I said, the open vortex happens on March 23rd, 2023. And then you have another vortex that opens up on I think it's 2043, right? So like I said, we are living in a 7-year tribulation because 7 is a highly spiritual number that represents evolution, right? It's either you're going to be ascending or you're going to descend by falling into a artificial time loop of the matrix system, right? The metaverse symbol, the 8, right? Time loop. So like I said, man, this is the delineation between those who are chosen, those who are not. So if you're basically a contributing factor to the planet, to where you have a concept of healing, you have a concept of edification, you are one of the chosen ones. If you're an agent provocateur of that matrix system, you know what I'm saying, you're not one of the chosen ones, because you want to keep people in politics, you want to keep people in religion, you want to keep people to have this veneration of fiat currency. You want to have people, stuck in religion and things of that nature. You want people to stay acclimated to the trivial and mundane concepts of the three-dimensional paradigm. So like I said, that's the difference between those who are the seeds of Enki and the seeds of Enlil, right? The seeds of Enlil have a veneration for the matrix. The seeds of Enki are trying to deviate from the matrix, right? So like I said, that's the difference between the esoteric science of Vedic numerology of the 7 and the 8. 7 is evolution, right? 2023, when you add up all the numbers, that's evolution, that's 7, right? So you got to detach from the old system in order to reap the benefits of ascension. So that's why 2023 to 2030 is the inception period of the 7-year tribulation. So everything that's taking place right now, it's all rooted in divine retribution. It's all prophetic. A lot of these people are having these visions in these dreams. It's not by coincidence. So with that being said, thanks for watching this video. Get this video out there. End of transmission.